Hey everybody, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms, and by popular demand, I've got my dad here with me today. First thing I always like to do is when the first few people get in here, if you can let me know if you can hear me all right, the picture and the sound are good. And mainly, I asked the other day, what would you guys like to see more of? And a lot of people said, bring your dad back on. So I'm just going to sit here, and I'd like you to talk for the next hour.
Evidently, old and crazy is popular. So,
well, you've pulled.
I've got the market on that.
You've pulled some kind of a magic trick where you convinced everybody watching that you have some expertise or something. People keep saying, "Man, your dad knows a lot of stuff."
You know, they say you learn more from your mistakes than you do your successes, and so I should be right up there with the smartest people around. I've made plenty of mistakes.
Yeah. I make them all the time. I make them publicly here. Hey, thank you guys for jumping on. Looks like we don't have any audio problems. We're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about tonight. I want to talk a little bit about the new tractor, the tractor deal, this sawmill rebuilding program, the changes I've been making. I've got a bunch of new camera equipment I've been playing with. So reading the comments here. Todd always says good morning. It's not morning anymore, Todd. I let morning go.
Maybe somewhere.
I let morning go till about noon, maybe 1 p.m. I sleep in some, but so
if he says early, he means 10 o'clock.
So someone was just asking me why we haven't had an update lately on the Woodland Mills program. You can see there's a sawmill behind me. We spent the day today working on a new process for dealing with the sawmills that are badly damaged and that are dropped off the truck or something, where most of what comes in is in pretty good shape. But like this one here was dropped off the truck. So to sell it, we've got to build it. So today we got a really cheap trailer that you can get for nothing or free, and it just put a bubble on you. I don't know how that happened. I think if you put your thumb up on there, it does it. But anyway, we did. We got a little trailer behind us, and we've set up a system so that we can load and unload fully assembled mills. We've been doing this a little while. What do you think of the program for this Woodland Mills rebuilding?
Well, I enjoy doing it. It's simpler work than we did in the factory, and most of the mills, like you said, don't come in with much damage. And actually, this one isn't damaged that badly, but the fact that the packaging, the shipping crate was damaged meant some parts were missing. So we had to order replacement parts. There was a dent in the gas tank. Plastic broke on the breather. Some nuts and bolts missing, just random stuff. It's going to be a nice mill without a lot of, the labor is putting it together to make sure there aren't any parts missing.
Yeah. And so Dad lives almost an hour away, something like that. And we kind of decided, since he's retired, he was going to come here one day a week and just hang out, and we could work on whatever kind of projects. Most of the time we're making a video. And so he was starting to be in videos all the time. Then this opportunity came up with Woodland Mills. I said, hey, would you like to do this, earn a little side income? So now he comes one day a week to work on these mills. And I don't feel like you guys want another update video once a week talking about the sawmill program. So we haven't been filming it. But we're looking at another project that we're going to be doing together. I've got sponsors lined up. If you guys remember my dad's old tractor, we called it the Frankenstein tractor because it looked like a truck. It has a truck rear end and a truck engine, but it's actually a tractor, but then it had a Woods backhoe on it that didn't belong. And I've found a couple of sponsors who are going to give us the products to do a rebuild on Dad's old backhoe. Tell them what you know about that backhoe and what we need to do.
Well, it's a Woods backhoe, and it worked really well, but the hoses are so bad that every time I would use it for very long, I'd end up blowing a hose, and so it's down more than it's functioning. And so we're going to do a complete redo on all the hoses, clean the rust up, paint it, install new Woods emblems on it. the tractor itself is a Toro. And until I first saw this tractor, I didn't know that Toro made anything larger than riding mowers. But they pulled real mowers behind them to do golf courses and football fields and things like that. And the reason they got the name Toro was because they originally made motors for a tractor company called Bull Tractor. So I nicknamed it Red Bull because it's a red tractor.
So originally they pulled real mowers for golf courses,
yeah.
And when you got it, it had already been modified a lot.
Yeah, somebody had put a a do-all front bucket on it, and I managed to mount a set of forks on that, and then we got my dad had a backhoe that we fit onto it, and it doesn't have a power takeoff, so it doesn't do a lot of things that tractors will, but it's got a lot of utility, and it's just a fun old beast.
Yeah, and so the problem is he uses it here and there, but it needs repairs like any machine that's really old. And the backhoe had a problem where a couple of the hoses were bad and leaking fluid, and so it was almost unusable. And I went and got it and brought it here, and it's been sitting here because one of us has to spend $500 on some new hoses. Really, you could replace just like 2 hoses and maybe get it to work for a day again, but you can see they're all dry rotted and all the hoses need replaced. And taking them off is kind of hard to do. So it's one of those things where if someone doesn't put some money into it, it's going to just go in the junk pile.
Yeah.
And I said, I've got a sponsor that's going to provide us with the hydraulic hoses for his backhoe. I've also got a sponsorship for the paint and some equipment paint. So, and to me, that's really cool that Dad wanted to do this project, but he didn't really want to spend the money. And I was like, well, I want to help him, but I didn't really want to spend the money either. So,
and I've looked at some similar backhoes, and they're still going for several $1,000s if they're in reasonable condition. So it's well worth salvaging.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to be doing that. I was asking people again, what kind of videos do you guys want to see? And a lot of the comments were, we want to see you doing more projects. And what I want this channel to be is outside working every day. But when sometimes these opportunities come up where I have special access to equipment, I've got to take advantage of it. And I've had so much of that lately, I can't even get my yard mowed. I got to get out there and get just some of the routine work done.
Sounds like an excuse to me.
Oh, it is. I'm the king of excuses, but it's been raining a lot.
Yeah.
But so we're trying to get back into some of those projects, and I think that's going to be a fun one doing that backhoe. But we got to get the shop cleared back out again, so we got somewhere to put it where we can still cycle in the wood chippers and the stump grinders and all of that stuff.
In this area of Kansas and Missouri, we get a lot of rain in the spring. It may be that way everywhere, but you can mow on Tuesday and need to mow again on Thursday. It just grows that fast. And so, yeah, it's easy to get behind. And if you don't keep up with it, you need a brush hog in no time.
So Dad's also got the old truck. What year's your truck?
It's a 1949 Chevy.
It's a
flatbed,
3/4 ton flatbed.
3/4 ton flatbed.
And I've been telling him, he's had that truck since I was a little kid, wanting to redo it. He's had it forever, and it can move. He's done some things, and then he'll work on it and then stop. And I'm like, and if you'd bring it here and say one day a week is father-son truck day,
yeah,
I would like to see it running. I want to see the back. So that's one that's coming. What would you guys now? So I ask this question and I get answers, and then I follow that, and it doesn't always work out that way. But what's your interest level in seeing me work on my dad's truck in this shop?
I think a lot of your viewers, whether it's homesteaders or somebody that does their own tractor work, they're interested in what can I do for myself, and that fits me to a T. Growing up poor, you either did it yourself or you did without, because there wasn't any money. And so you do learn how to do some things, and even when I've got money, there's a great deal of satisfaction in doing your own work and doing it the way you want it done.
Absolutely. And so I'm getting some of these requests. There's one asking about the koi pond. I'm going to do a big wrap up video on that where I show it start to finish and where it's at now. And a lot of times people say they want to see those project videos and I put them out and they're the least popular. Like the Jeep, people keep asking me for an update on the Jeep. So I guess I'll give one right now. That we bought my son this Jeep for $5,000. Actually, it was listed $5,000. We only paid $4,000 because it had things wrong with it. And we started working on it here in the shop. And everyone's like, what happened? I thought you were doing a Jeep. Well, our plan was always that this was going to be something that took time. Right now, he drives it to school every day. He graduates from high school in 2 weeks. And then in the summer, we're going to have the opportunity to bring it in here and strip it down. I've already got the paint for it. We're thinking we might put a very small springs and shocks lift on it. But that project has to wait. Someone else has asked about me getting a compact tractor. I want to have a small tractor. It's a transition. I said it when I got the mini skid steer that I had a plan to try to have enough equipment still on the property, but not have all the debt that I have. And I'd like to get a small tractor. Yesterday, I went to the tractor yard and I recorded videos about a couple of the smaller LS tractors, looked at those. That'll be out in the next couple days. I'm still looking to go around and review equipment. I've got some opportunity to compare some other mowers, maybe a couple mini excavators on the property for a week or two. But it's all about trying to find, the best deal and everything.
Well, I've had a good chance in person to look over the John Deere and the TYM, and that TYM is a beast. And for the money, that's a lot of tractor. But then again, like Brock has pointed out a number of times, sometimes a smaller machine can do the work and get into places and do things that the big one can't.
So someone's asking if I've sold the equipment. My dealership is coming to look at both machines and make me an offer. I've not sold anything. At any point, I can take the tractor to the tractor yard. He'll put it on the auction sites, list it on his dealer website, try to get it sold that way. But right now, I had a couple of conversations going. Those deals didn't work out. Someone says they are going to come look at the skid steer next week. I really appreciate that. I love nothing more than making these videos. It's so much fun. Now, we got someone here that wants to see us work on your truck. Hey, the tractor yard's on. These are my guys right here. I want to talk about this deal because I got 99% positive comments, and probably the people that are on this stream right now are the people who are positive and supportive. I had a few people who said, well, now that you've sold out and you're just shilling for a brand. Well, that's not really the case. Like I said, I can have access to 3 different brands now. I could switch. Whenever I got the offer from the tractor yard, I had a choice between the TYM, the LS, a bad boy. I could have picked any tractor on his lot, and I thought the 574 was the best deal for me. And Jake has been encouraging me. Jake owns the tractor yard. He's put out the offer that anyone who wants to buy a TYM 574 can get $1 per mile shipping from now until we announce that deal's over. And it's an awesome deal. But he's been encouraging me right now to try to get like a Coyote tractor on the property, run it. He's not told me like you cannot show other machines or anything like that. He's giving me access to really work with the machine that I picked.
And one thing I can say that because I'm personally involved with what Brock does on the channel is that there are companies that have tried to more or less turn him into an advertiser, and he turns them down because integrity of content is really important to him and me, and I think a lot of our viewers.
So this is a tough decision. I've chewed on this for a year and a half since I first started having conversations with companies about getting a tractor deal, sponsored tractor deal. I've had these conversations for a long time. I've had concrete offers will provide you with a tractor. I've been offered to be paid to take a tractor, and it's a decision that you have to make about, is this the right machine for me? Do I want to be tied to this brand? Are there stipulations on what I can say? The reason I'm not keeping the John Deere tractor has nothing to do with the tractor. It's not because the sponsorship doesn't allow me to keep the tractor. It's that I carry way too much debt. As a business owner, I got a little ahead of myself and took on too much debt buying the property and the truck and the tractor and the skid steer in a year's time, and then saying, man, I've taken on too much. There's not security in the economy. There's not security in my income. How much debt do I want to carry? And right now I have the opportunity to reduce debt and try to get ahead in life a little bit and maybe find another way to get a compact tractor.
Well, and you said that you really enjoy making the videos. Yeah. And for me, that's what retirement is. I still work. I work all the time. I'm remodeling a house. I remodeled a house that I rented out. I come here and work. I've been remodeling some of my own home, doing work for some of my kids. I work all the time, but I do the work I like to do on my terms. And that's kind of where you're at. But with the debt, it's stressful. It's not a relaxed retirement.
Yeah, I would say I'm blessed beyond measure that I spend my time the way I want to spend my time. I was trying to click another comment. Now I accidentally clicked this one. It said someone wants a shirt. I never talk about it in my videos, but I have shirts, hats, coffee cups, all that. It's for sale. There's a link in the description of the videos. I'm not, if someone wants it, it's there, but I'm not going to promote that or try to talk people into buying it. And you guys give me some advice here. I got a logo with that's green. It's got the trees for the Christmas tree farm. It's got the green tractor. It's not really what I'm doing anymore. I like the way it looks, but do I need a new logo, guys? David was here and bought a stump grinder and a landscape rake this weekend. Got to run the machine. He was before I did, he was the first person to ever cycle the backhoe. And I'm trying, I like to cover every topic on the piece of equipment, and that includes, like, I want to use the backhoe, and then I want to show how to take it on and off before I try anything else. So, but right now it's so muddy, I can't go out and use the backhoe in the mud.
Yeah, you can get stuck on your riding mower.
Yeah.
The person that rents a house from me got their zero turn stuck in the yard and had to pull it out.
We got another one here. I'm jumping topic to topic, but I like if we can involve you guys in the conversation as much as possible.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Are you still researching livestock? I love the idea of it.
How can somebody be 100% carnivore and not raise any animals? That's just crazy.
And in case you guys didn't know what he's talking about, I've lost 68 pounds in 5 months by eating nothing but red meat. All I eat is red meat, black coffee. Lost 68 pounds I've been doing some extra walking, but not much of anything else. But the farming, I'd love to be a farmer, but things aren't easy. Like, you have to do what you're talking about and research, like these Greg Judy. You go on there, watch those videos, try to learn something. We currently don't have enough fencing. I went in the house about a month ago, said, hey guys, I'm getting some chickens. I'm going to take all the grandkids, let the grandkids pick the baby chickens, and we'll set it up, and we'll make a whole day of the grandkids getting chickens and video that. I go in and tell my wife, and she says, how about you clean up some of the messes you already have around? And I'm not like getting on her right now. She's right. Like, I haven't mowed my yard in a couple weeks. I need to get a handle on everything before I expand.
Well, and livestock or farming of any kind is not the simple thing that people think it is. If you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose half of your stock. I've seen it over and over again. Somebody wants to do a little hobby farm, and their first year or two, they lose as many animals as they manage to raise.
Yep, it would definitely be a learning experience, and I hope to get there. And I have been watching those videos. I've watched 100 videos on how to build a chicken coop, how to raise chickens, how to this, how to that, but I'm not ready to do it. My buddy Lucas is asking about the mill behind us. That is a 122 sawmill that we just built today. Lucas has a Mechmax, if I'm saying that right, sawmill. That's pretty cool. He's becoming a partner with that company, and he's set up a pretty cool wood yard. If you guys want to see some wood yard content.
Now, as far as the carnivore, the last time I was involved with a live stream, Billy was here, and we got off topic and started talking because we were talking about homesteading, and we got off topic and started talking about the quality of food when you raise it yourself, and actually the price and the quality. I recently bought a half a hog, and after processing and all, it came out to $2.88 a pound. You can't buy good meat for that of any kind. And I'm carrying it out to the truck from the slaughterhouse where we picked it up. And I'm looking at the bag, and through the bag, semi-clear bag, I can see the meat is bright red. I'm used to seeing pork pink in the stores. The quality is just uncomparable when you buy something that's locally grown, grass-fed,
Yep. And I bought the other half of that hog, and then I bought a half a cow. So I've got a whole freezer full. And every day I indiscriminately grab 2 packages of meat. I have one for breakfast, one for dinner. That's how I do it.
And the thing is, people have this idea that it's so expensive to eat that way. But I'm finding I eat cheaper and better quality if I just plan it out and find a local farmer, and he benefits from it and I benefit from it. It's a win-win. And we live in a country that agriculture is everywhere. It's something almost anybody could do. Plus, not only that, but if I fall off the wagon and have a heavy carb meal, 2 hours later, I'm starving again. It causes cravings. There's no wonder people lose weight. I'm eating less on this diet and not trying to. I'm eating until I'm full and feel good, and I'm losing weight. I've dropped 20 pounds, but more importantly, I've dropped about 50 on my high blood pressure. I've been on 2 different pills for high blood pressure for over 2 years, and my blood pressure kept going up. I was at dangerous levels. And now after about 2 months, I'm back to normal.
And this is after having heart surgery 4 months ago. 4 years ago.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago. And after having that heart surgery, being on all the medications.
The change of diet has done what the medications couldn't.
I was going to jump
I'm not into fad diets. Brock had to kind of twist my arm, and I saw his results before I even tried it. And I'm just almost in disbelief how well it's worked.
I was going to answer this question. It's about a retirement plan for a YouTube. Yeah, that's the answer. The same reason I'm not keeping the tractor. It's because I don't have a retirement plan as a YouTuber. I don't have healthcare benefits. I don't have any benefits whatsoever. I'm paid a nice living for making videos, and I'm grateful for that. But I have to make my own plans for the future, and that's about reducing debt. Someone else asked about, we have plans on farming the cleared land. Right now, it's just going to be hay and a pumpkin patch. That's the plan this year. I'm going to,
because there's so much money in pumpkins.
It's the only thing I ever grew that mostly worked. It mostly worked.
I keep telling you, get a hog. Those things just about take care of themselves, and they'll kill snakes, and they'll eat anything.
Well, but we just had that conversation. I'm like a year, 2, 3 years away from. I don't have any fencing. Stacy wouldn't let me have chickens. We got to ease into all of this.
Well, you better have the hog back here on the back side of the property, because you don't want that smell close to the house.
So the last 4 years, someone else has baled our hay. Now we're going to bale it ourselves. I've got access to the equipment, and I'm going to start with hay, and then we'll go from there. See, do you ever consider comparing new tractors to the older one of similar horsepower? So I did one of those. I took my 38 horsepower John Deere that weighed 5,000 pounds with all the ballast that's on it to a 38 horsepower 1941 John Deere A, and I hooked them each the same log and tried to pull it out. And the It wasn't as dramatic as you would have thought, but the 1941 tractor did pull out the log when the other one couldn't.
Mhm.
But
it probably had a lot to do with gearing.
mhm.
Whether you're talking about an auto, like a truck, like my 49, or a tractor, they didn't put large motors on in things. That truck is a 216 cubic inch. That's tiny. Now a good sized truck may have almost 3 times the cubic inch, but they geared them so low, and they didn't drive high. The roads weren't that good. They didn't drive fast. They geared them low, and they would pull a lot of weight.
I find that A to be a really interesting comparison to the new John Deere tractor that is still here, because, like I said a second ago, they weigh the same amount. Even though you wouldn't believe it, the other one is just the tractor, and then mine has all the ballast weight, the cab, the fluid in the tires, all of that. They end up weighing the same amount. They have the same horsepower. There's just the difference between the old simple gear drive and the modern hydrostat. So I thought that was kind of fun to do a test between those.
Well,
And I redid that hay wagon that still needs a deck on it, but the undercarriage is done. The running gear is good. It's got brand new tires. The idea is to maybe do the hay cutting and pull the wagon with the A and run the baler off of the new tractor. That's the idea, is to have period specific pieces for that, but it doesn't just happen right away. So I do want to do some of that.
Yeah. I love the old stuff, but it's not always practical. I think my wife really loves the old stuff. She keeps me around.
I was considering, if I'm able to sell both of my machines, getting a Ford 8N and making some videos with that.
A lot of people love those tractors. They've got a good reputation.
Get some ducks for your pond. What do you think about ducks?
It's a dirty animal.
I see.
And honestly, the meat tastes almost as bad as yeah, they're a dirty animal.
I'm ignorant. I don't know anything. But I go out there and there'll be geese on it. There'll also be like cranes. But we walked out there and we recorded some video as we were walking up, and my grandson Zayden started yelling at them and they flew off. I'm like, ducks just stay. They don't leave like the.
Some do. Some travel. But you got a lot of good meat on your property all the time, and you won't shoot them.
Yeah, I have. I don't think I'm going to go with them. I've never been a deer hunter, but
I'll find us some places we can mushroom hunt. You won't feel bad about killing them.
We do have deer out here, and my 2 son-in-laws hunt, and I've told them I want some deer meat this year. Uh-oh. We got someone who's angry at us. If you look up here, it says 106 people are watching. And there's some thumbs up. There's some hearts. There's not a lot of likes on the video, but somebody gave us a Facebook angry face. Lynn, I apologize if we've made you angry. Sometimes I try to stay on a topic, but I'm just going to reply to anything that people say. Blood pressure is no joke. I bet most of you already know this, but I posted the video. I said, guys, I weigh 286 pounds. My blood pressure is over 150, top number consistently. The doctors told me multiple times, you have to go on medication. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not. And then I came on the video and I said, I'm giving myself 90 days to lower my blood pressure, or I'm going to take the medicine. And it now sits at 110 over 70 with a 70 heart rate consistently, just from making that change.
Well, and I will take personal observation over expert opinion any day. I mean, I know I can't tell you what you should do with your diet, but I know the change it's made in mine. There's no doubt about it. I was already on the high blood pressure medicine, and my blood pressure kept going up and up and up. Every time I would check it at a doctor's office, it would go up. And I got to where I was checking it at home, and I was getting numbers that were so high. Had I told my wife, who's a registered nurse, she'd have probably took me to the emergency room.
Mm-hmm. They call
And
it the silent killer.
And in 2 months' time, I'm back in the normal range.
And the crazy thing is that,
and I don't even stick to it as strictly as Brock does. I cheat. My carnivore is somewhere between carnivore and keto.
yep. We got another question on a totally different topic, so I guess we're just going to switch again.
That's fine with me.
The smallest cab tractor TYM makes. They make them for some of the little tractors, like a T25, but they are like my tractor cab. And I've seen them at shows and talked to them about it. They are. It puts a thumb on your face when I do this. Can you guys see a thumb on there? I don't know what that is. So these cabs don't have air conditioning on the smaller ones. And not all, there are some, but most of those small cabs don't have air conditioning because it robs power from the engine and it makes it heavier, and it's such a small machine that it's not effective. So I don't know what the smallest one says. You can put a cab on any tractor. I've heard a lot of speculation about a 2515 getting a cab. Are you going to address your island erosion at some point? Absolutely. So it's been all this rain, but within a month or so, I'm going to get a mini excavator out here to help bring the rocks down. I've talked to 2 different companies about potentially doing a 1-week loan on a mini excavator so I don't have to pay the $1,000 rental. If no one wants to loan me one, or another YouTuber doesn't want to come down here and make some videos with me, then I will rent one for a week. Since I've lived here twice, I've done a 1-week excavator rental. And I think it'll make it so much easier to get those rocks down off the hill.
Well, and when he was had a video and a discussion about what to do, and a lot of people were saying, you need to put rock in place, and he wasn't too sure about it. I thought it'd be almost criminal to have this many rock and not use them for something. You could farm rock if there was any value in them. You get more rock than anything on a rock hill.
People are like, you could just open up a rock quarry here. Yeah, I think a rock crusher is probably $50,000. But go into I don't need another business really. I got too many. The plan for the erosion on the island, one side has some slope and it's not really eroding. The other side, chunks are falling off in. So what I'm going to do is follow all the suggestions you guys gave. Pile rocks up off of it to make a slope out, and just keep piling them up until they are stacked up against it. Then once they kind of settle in, I can take some dirt over and put on top of it. And I think that's going to fix it. And
the large rock like that give a good place for fish to hide from the bigger fish. And it's good actually for the pond, for your fish to have some hiding places in there. A lot of fishermen will seek out the large boulders underneath a bridge to catch fish, because the large fish come in there to eat the small fish that are hiding.
Yep. And so I put a stump in there for wildlife habitat for the same reason. And right next to that stump, you can catch an unlimited amount of really small fish. It's
not a really ethical thing to do, but there are people that'll drop trees and so forth into a lake. It may not even be legal, but I know of people that have done it so that they can come back later and catch their trophy fish in fishing tournaments and so forth.
Someone's asking about the LS MT3 series. Is that the same as the 357 that I looked at? I really like that 357, and it was between that and the TYM as far as which one I brought home. It's a good tractor. It's got the same capabilities. It has more electronics, whether you consider that better or worse. The TYM has the advantage that it doesn't have all those extra electronics on the engine. It's a simple mechanically fuel-injected engine. But I really like that LS MT3 series. And what I recorded yesterday, that'll be published tomorrow or the next day, is a comparison of the redesign on the 2 series. They made it look a little nicer, and they made a few small improvements, and they increased the lift capacity on that 2 series, where now I think it's competitive. If you want a 25 horsepower tractor with a maximum lift capacity, that 20L, that E2 226 from LS is really interesting.
I found it interesting what Brock said in a recent video about the pedal and how it's not like a gas pedal. I mean, they even call it a shuttle shift. That's your shifter down there. So when you press it down hard, you're going into a higher gear and you're actually losing brute force.
Okay, we're going to go back to the pond. You going to drain it or no? What's the plan? I don't think I have to. I think if I just drop rocks in right up against, you got that wall that's eroding right here. I think if I just continually drop rocks in right here until they pile up, then and then let it settle, and you might have to add some more. That's my plan. It's a big pond, and that connects all the way around. To lower that water level, I mean, you could do it, but I think I can just pile rocks in there with the water there.
I would imagine.
At least try that.
Then you're going to build up a substrate for that so that ledge can't break off because there's something blocking it. And a better, like I said, a better habitat for the fish.
I want to give a huzzah to Bob Travels here. 325 pounds with high blood pressure 2 years ago. Keto and intermittent fasting, lost 100 pounds, blood pressure below normal. It affects the quality of the entire rest of your life. Congratulations on that.
I'm certain I've had more energy. I'm getting more work done. My to-do list is shrinking because I'm not exhausted after 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, I feel so much better. Okay, what's your opinion on the Deutz tractors? Everyone says they're amazing farm tractors. They're generally, everything they make is too big for what I do or what I was looking at. At the last Tulsa Farm Show last year, I went up to their booth and I said, hey, what's that small tractor there? And they had one that was only like 60 horsepower and would have been a comparable tractor to look at, but I don't know where the nearest dealer was, and I don't know much about it. I asked them some questions, and it sounded interesting, but the only ones I didn't get to on my comparison series on the bigger tractors was them and the Case Farmall, which I did a talking piece about Farmall at the National Farm Machinery Show, but I just didn't find a dealer and get to them. We got another one about the pond. Did you eat any of the pond caught fish? We normally put everything back unless, maybe the hook gets lodged in there too far and it's going to die anyway. We might. We really debated it on that 10-pound catfish, and my grandson was going crazy over that catfish. His mom caught it, and she had it up to the bank, and we could all see it, and he's freaking out. It's huge. It's splashing around. I tried to jump in there to grab it, and it got away. And he was there for that, and then I caught it when he wasn't available to come see it, and he was so wound up about that catfish because I had said when we catch it, we're going to cook it, and he was so wound up, he wanted to catch it, so we put it back, and it's still in there. The first time we went fishing this spring, the first time it was warm enough, he caught 2 3-pound bass without me even over there. He caught 2 3-pound bass. And the first one that he caught, we had for dinner. He watched me clean it and we cooked it and everything. But generally, I throw him back to let him grow.
No, he's just too lazy to clean them. That's what it was.
So growing up, we'd go fishing with my grandpa. We'd catch 100 bluegill, and we'd come home and clean them all. And it was great memories. Those were huge ponds. But I think we've got that population of those small fish now. We could pull a bunch out. They're super. Every cast you pull out a bluegill this big.
Your grandpa was a real good fisherman. And grandma was real good at cooking fish. And I was really good at eating them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It takes all of these skill sets brought together.
I've never been good at fishing or cooking them, but I can eat my weight in perch fillets.
Yeah. So congrats on the TYM. I love that machine. It's just so I try to be realistic that when someone comes on and they say, well, maybe that tractor's going to fall apart. Maybe it's a junk brand. Okay, well, we don't know what's going to happen in 20 years. What I see right now is when I look tractor next to tractor, build quality, I don't see anything inferior about it. It's a little bit beefier than most of the competitors. It lifts more, costs a lot less, simplified machine. We'll see what happens a year from now. 200 or 300 hours on it. See if I have any complaints. Right now, I'm working on getting a bigger brush cutter to run behind it, things like that. But I love that machine. It's got good visibility of the loader.
If I pulled into some lot and the TYM and that John Deere were sitting side by side, and I looked at both machines and the price, there's no question in my mind which one I'd take home.
MT 125. I think that's an LS. I believe I went and looked at one of those at the tractor yard. Lots of comments we're way behind on. I'm going to try to get through a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Thought about getting rid of. I want to sell the truck. So you guys know I bought a truck for $83,000. It wasn't. I love the truck. It's an amazing truck. It had the one failure fixed under warranty. I love that truck. But I would love to sell it. I would sell it to you today for what I owe. But unfortunately, because of how I bought it and the way the economy is, I owe quite a bit more on the truck than it's worth. It's hard to sell a truck. If it's not worth what you owe, you have to have a whole bunch of cash sitting around. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get out from under the truck. I would like to do that.
Now, when I said that comparison about the TYM and the John Deere, I would love to have the John Deere. It's a nice machine. Don't get me wrong. I wish I could justify the purchase. I'd be buying it from you. But it's when you consider the how well built the TYM is and the price and the the way the engine is injected. If I had to pay the new full price on both, I'd take the TYM every day.
Someone's asking about the truck. I've had it 2.5 years and I've already got 70,000 miles on it. It's a problem when you pay that much and you drive it a lot. You're depreciating it. But I have had zero problems with that truck. I had the transmission failed early. They fixed it under warranty and they showed me the part that was wrong, that was messed up on it. It was manufacturing defect. Someone didn't assemble it right, and no problems since. Someone's asking about a cutting edge. I'd like to get another Piranha bar for it, but I don't know if I will. I have an offer where I could get one of the heavy hitch style bars, which are nice. They're more aggressive diggers, but they change your bucket geometry. It's a little bit harder to dig with them. It might be something you take on and off. I haven't made a decision on that. Right now, the next thing I've got to do is get the third function put on it. I have a third function kit here. I'm going to do the install myself. Just haven't had time for it. So I've got a lot of those types of upgrade things coming. Mark Milton, I like your new tractor. Wish you would have done that 2 months ago. I would have bought it instead of a Kubota. Yeah, I think it's a fantastic value. Nothing wrong with the Kubota tractor, but especially that deal that the tractor yards got going on right now. They sell at a lower margin, so they don't make as much profit on each one. They're a volume seller, and they sell a lot of tractors, and they're offering a great price on that with the ability to ship it to you for $1 a mile. Hey, I feel like I'm boycotting all the talk. You got anything you want to say?
No, you're interacting with the people that are asking questions and so forth. I mean, that's what you're here for.
We're going to take a minute, and Dad's going to tell you his political beliefs. He's got some things to say about who's running this year, Obama?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Hope your grandson catches that catfish. I do too. So every time we go down there to
he
fish,
will. He's a fisherman.
He is pretty good at it.
You can show videos of your grandchildren every day, and I'll be hooked because they happen to be my great-grandchildren.
So he's pretty good about, he can take the hook out himself. He's 7. He can do most of the stuff. Every time we go down there, we take 3 poles. It's one for me to fish with, one for him to fish with, and the giant catfish pole that's 12 foot long and he's 3 foot tall. first thing we do, we catch a little tiny fish and we put it on the hook and we throw it out there for that catfish and just wait, because that's how I caught it the first time, was on a little fish like that.
You need to go back and watch the video before I get to that fish. It's hilarious. It got all loose right up at the bank, and he's diving into the water trying to catch it with his hands.
Yeah, if you guys missed it, there's a video out there of me diving in the ponds after. This is one we already touched on. So this is a sawmill behind me that fell off of a truck. It's being delivered, fell off the truck, pieces everywhere. It came in a pile. And 90% of what we receive is in great shape. There's a scratch on it. There's a hole in the box. The customer says, I don't want to take the liability of finding out if there's something wrong with this. My mill looked like that. I opened it up. There was nothing wrong with it. Most of the mills are like that. But Dad comes once a week, and we build sawmills.
And we inspect mills and wood chippers and stump grinders to find defects, so that when the buyer gets them, there's not a problem, but they're still under warranty, and we can get parts for them. And we save people some money. Gives me a little part-time income, and we save people some money. It's a good deal.
It has been. And I was hoping, my plan was, when you're starting something new, you don't know how it's going to go. My plan was that I would be offering these for sale to you guys at a discount, and I could ship them to you. But Woodland Mills is doing free shipping. So if you don't live within 2 hours of me, the amount of discount I can give you doesn't really make it worth it right now. They normally don't run specials like that, which makes it a little bit more intriguing. But we're doing that program. As of right now, we can't ship the products.
Well, and we're selling mills as fast as we can get them in anyway. So, I mean, and that's just local people.
So this is a great question. How do you like that bigger backhoe? All I've done is sit in it and cycle it because it's so muddy. I don't want it's pretty pointless to go dig in the mud just because I'm anxious to do it. But it moves really fast, and it's hard to say how I'm going to like it. If it dries up before I sell the John Deere, I'll park them next to each other and dig for 30 minutes on each one and see how much, because I've done so many upgrades and put the bigger bucket on the John Deere backhoe, and we'll see how they compare.
Well, and the bucket size is something that I think you need a couple bucket sizes, because there's sometimes you don't want to dig a really wide trench. Other times you want to move a lot of dirt at once.
Yep. You did not buy the TYM, right? You're just using it. Yeah. Jake from the tractor yard, we signed a deal that it's really simple, and I'm transparent. So what he wants from me is he wants me to come to the tractor yard once a month and make a video with him about tractors. And so once a month, I'm going to go up there and we might test lift capacity on the parking lot, or we might review a piece of equipment that I haven't already reviewed on his lot. What I want from him is to have access to use a tractor, some tractor off his lot. I want to have it on my property so that I can reduce my debt, sell my tractor, my skid steer. And that's what our deal is. Longtime subscriber. Thank you to all of the longtime or regular subscribers, because you guys allow me to do what I do. If I make a new video and you guys come on every day and watch it, then YouTube says, okay, there are 500 or 1,000 people who watch every day. This has to be good, or that wouldn't be happening. Then they show it to more people. And because of that, I have a job making videos.
I'm surprised sometimes when I look at a video, it's got a lot of views, but very few likes or shares or anything. And I'm saying, please like and share, and because if he's not successful at this, I might have to feed him again, and that's not good.
Right? You got extra rooms at your house?
I do have a spare bedroom.
The tractor comparisons, I really enjoy doing them. I do not want to have a channel that only does tractor comparisons. I want to have a channel that largely is working on my own property or doing paid work for other people. I still want to go out and do brush cutting for people and things like that. But when I get an opportunity to access equipment, I jump on it, because I do think those videos provide value for someone who's looking to buy. Good luck with your new direction and hope it works out for you. God bless. Thank you so much. I'm very blessed, very excited for all this I'm doing. It would be nice if Hydros Plus made kits for TYM. The other thing I was going to talk about, and we haven't got to, is I want some comments on the next 2 videos. The videos that publish the next 2 days are using new camera equipment and new camera techniques. I have one camera that's a little bitty tiny camera with a built-in gimbal, and it will follow me. I can set it down. It'll follow me while I walk around. I also got wireless microphones with it, so I can be doing a project and just talk while I work, where normally I stop working, come over and talk, then I go back and work. And the idea is that maybe I can have a better flow of the videos that way. And then I got a more professional camcorder with a lot of zoom so that I can really show I've had trouble with my other camera getting good up close footage of what I'm working on. So I've invested some of my YouTube revenue into some better camera equipment. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think of it.
And I'm really impressed with what I've seen so far. I can't wait to see it actually on screen to see what, how well it did. But the camera is turning to go to where he's at. It's like a facial recognition thing, and it supposedly takes a lot of the shakiness out. And I was walking with the camera in my hand across large gravel, and I know I was shaking and bouncing all up and down. So I'm curious to see how well that footage turned out.
All right. Do I regret closing my other business? I do not. You want to do something in life that you enjoy and you're good at. And I don't know if I was either of those things. I love that business originally. It gave me opportunities in life. It's allowed me to do what I'm doing now. I am not cut out to be somebody's boss. If you work for me and you're not doing your job, I have a hard time being direct, and I tend to empathize with the person too much, and I literally let people come to work when they wanted. That's just how I did it. And then it was a full-time customer service job, so you're answering the phone all the time, and where's this product, what's your shipping time, and it was I just felt that was more stressful, even though I did make good money doing that. This is a question, YouTube or Facebook. I want you guys to watch it wherever you enjoy watching. It's a little better probably for me on YouTube, but not a big deal, really. Someone's got a good question here. I'm waiting to see you build your sawmill building. When is it scheduled? Let me get your opinion. Just live react right now, because my talking point since I got the sawmill was I need to build a building to put it in. But doesn't the setup that I have right now seem pretty good?
It does. And the thing is, it's on a trailer now. So it's completely mobile and able to take it out and enjoy a nice breeze, or keep it inside if it's rainy. It's pretty handy the way it is. And if you're like me, I think of so many different projects I'd like to do, and getting them all done in a reasonable period of time is near impossible.
And my buddy Lucas here saying, keep it in the Quonset hut. So I've got lights in there. It's spacious. I can easily access in and out. I can get around behind it. I've been really happy, and I'm thinking about, I still want to build what the next project I want to do. I've been talking to a couple local friends about maybe helping me with the build, is a solar kiln. And then I think I might still build the structure. I was talking about putting the mill in, but make it an area for drying lumber in.
Yeah.
Because I do want to just get out and build stuff with the wood. That's why I'm making stuff. That's why I wanted the mill, so I can build stuff. This one, thank you for the audio quality. I am a stickler on audio quality. There's some channels that are very successful that I enjoy watching that put up with a ton of wind noise. And our wind is blowing so hard it knocks my tripods over every day. And I try really hard not to tolerate wind noise.
I get really irritated at some videos I watch. I'll watch something with on guitars, and these people have all kinds of sound equipment for their guitar, amplifiers and you name it. But when it comes to the audio of them speaking, you almost can't tell what they're saying sometimes. And it's just like, what are you thinking? If you know, get a good mic.
I am ready. I've been doing the prep work. I've got the mill set up in 1/3 of the Quonset hut, and then the back 2/3 is for firewood. I built that log deck. I've got the new splitter. I've got actually 2 really nice splitters. I've got a ton of logs down there. My friend Joe, the Okie Woodsman, has a brand new splitter that is of similar price comparison from another company, and we are going to be doing some head-to-head comparisons. Oh, someone who follows Lucas is on here asking about his sawmill building. I've seen it. It's done. I didn't know that he hadn't shown it yet in videos, but you're going to see it. And he makes me feel like I need to get out and work harder because he got his mill way after me and he's already put the building up and everything. So you guys check out Lucas tomorrow, Peaks Peak Hobby Homestead, as he unveils his new sawmill building. But I've got all the equipment. I've done all the setup. I'm ready to see if I can process a lot of wood in one day. Where previously I would do, my equipment was outside and I didn't really have my process ironed out. And I was almost 300 pounds and I would do 1 tote of firewood and call that a day.
Yeah.
And probably ought to do
your grandpa would have done 4 or 5 without the equipment.
You planning on buying the mini skid steer once the agreement is up? It's a possibility. It's a real possibility. I mean, we'll wait and see what happens. I have a 2-year deal on that and I've had it 6 months, but it's super handy. I've got 3 new attachments that are supposed to be here for it within a week that I'll be unveiling these new attachments. I've got an auger and a grapple and a trailer mover coming. And today we were using it to move this trailer, and it's so small and the trailer's long. It's super handy. Lifts 1,000 pounds. Use it in the building as a forklift. Enough hydraulic flow that you can run a stump grinder on it. Like, I wouldn't, if I only had 1 machine, I wouldn't pick that. I'd pick a tractor. Yeah. But if you're going to have 2 or 3 machines, then it's pretty handy.
Well, and if what you did was the work we do with sawmills, it'd be the perfect machine for it. It does a lot of the things we do with building a sawmill or lifting them out of the package to see what may be wrong. It's been really handy around here. It's not a piece of farm equipment.
Yes. So think about the situation we have with building these sawmills. These mills are 12 foot long. I have this heated and air conditioned building that has the tools in it, concrete floor. I like it when Dad comes and works on days when it's raining. I can't go outside and film. It's a perfect day to work on these mills. So it makes sense to build them in here. We thought about building them in the Quonset hut, but this is a little bit better. Regardless, they're 12-foot long mill, 10-foot wide door. How are you going to get it in and out? You have to build it long way so it can go in and out long way, and they don't come with trailers.
No.
And the ability to maneuver that mini skid steer in here has been fantastic. And then this boat trailer idea that you'll see in a video in the next couple of days, we've rigged up a deal where we can take them in and out with the mini skid steer and a boat trailer.
Yeah. And because the mini is a lot shorter than the trailer, it doesn't jackknife. It's easy to guide. You could just about put it anywhere you want to.
I've only had one negative thing on that mini skid steer, and it's the auxiliary control is kind of in a bad place and a little bit awkward to use, but they've already released an update for that I'm waiting on shipping for. I'm going to be showing the upgraded controls for it. But otherwise, so I'm just a hack. I don't know anything. I'm not a professional equipment operator. I don't have 30 years of experience. I haven't ran every brand of mini skid steer, but the guy, all of a sudden I forgot his name, that drove down a couple hours from Kansas City to pick up some equipment this weekend, David. And he installs fiber optic underground in subdivisions for a living. He's got a business, and he's got a mini excavator and a tractor and a trencher, and he used those bullets, and he came out and ran that mini, and he was really impressed. He's rented them before from other brands, and I didn't know how to grade this machine, and he was pretty impressed with it. Dad won't run it. I can't get him to.
It just seems like, it's I don't know, it's spooky. It rocks because it's so short. It rocks over every little rock and stuff, and I'm certain you'd get used to it, and it wouldn't be an issue. But I feel more comfortable in that big tired tractor.
Yeah. Yep. And so I did a video recently. We're about to wrap this up. I go an hour. We're a little over an hour. That said, what's the right equipment? Because I'll tell you what I want on my farm is a big tractor and a small tractor and a skid steer and a mini excavator and then a mini skid steer. All I need is those 6 things with a sawmill and a good firewood processor. But it's not realistic. Like, everybody's not going to have all that. No. So what if you could only have one of those? Well, it's a compact. It's probably like a 40 horsepower tractor. But if you have a sawmill, then you need something like the 574. And whether my tractor, the 574, can lift 2,800 pounds or the competition can lift 23, well, the log weighs what it weighs. And if it weighs 26, you need the bigger machine. So all these machines have a purpose, but it's not realistic to have them all. So I enjoy the ability to compare. I've had a big skid steer and a small tractor. Now I have a big tractor and a small skid steer. Next, maybe it's a mini X and a medium-sized tractor. Like, for me, I might churn through equipment more than the average person because I can get opportunities like that, and it's good for comparison.
If all you did was logging, my dad used to run a successful logging business with a 1950 Chevy with a winch on it, and you could lift almost any log on the planet and put it wherever you wanted to. But if you do multiple things, you need more versatility than that.
Yep. And that tractor, if I didn't make videos, that little compact tractor that I have, if I didn't make videos, it's all the machine I probably need. But I'm trying to keep the channel continuing to evolve because I feel like I've done everything I can possibly do with that tractor. There's no type of job that I really haven't already tried. There's no type of attachment or modification. And so now we're going to try some other things.
Well, I watch videos for one of two purposes, and I like to see both, for an entertainment value and to learn something. And so when you get to see different equipment and how it's used and different attachments, and it's not just the same old rope,
This will be the last question, then we're going to wrap it up. I talked about earlier, but my son's Jeep, he graduates from high school in 2 weeks, and he's been driving that Jeep to school. Here in about 2 weeks, he's going to graduate, and we're going to bring it in here, and we'll do a couple of videos that comprise a week's worth of upgrades on it. Like the last one, we worked for a week to Rhino line the tub, Raptor line the tub. We're going to do the same thing with the undercarriage, possibly a lift, new bumpers, whatever we can make happen over the course of the summer before he goes on to college. It's been a fun project. You got any closing thoughts, words of wisdom?
Goodbye.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you guys taking the time.
Nice talking to you.
To watch a video. I got one coming out with Dad in the next couple days. I appreciate every one of you who watches a video. And thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next one.